Hello everyone and welcome. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. This is our show where we do our live reviews. So again, this week we are reviewing websites that was submitted by Tom, Katherine, Samuel, Kay, and Roy. So awesome. Thank you very much for submitting all your websites for the review. Now, before I continue, if you can hear me loud and clear, please do let me know in the comments. Just in case I'm speaking to myself. So if my sound is fine and you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the comments box. Okay, and also the websites that I'll be reviewing will be in the comments box. So please do take a look in the comments box so you can have an idea of which websites I'm reviewing. Okay, so it looks like everything is loud and clear. Fantastic. Right, so before we begin, I'd like to say this episode is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. Awesome. Right. So I can see a lot of familiar faces here. This is fantastic. Really appreciate you guys joining me on this live show. We have Agante. We have Cedric from Paris. Cedric was just watching episode 6 of the website reviews. Wow, that is awesome. Well, Cedric, you have a lot to catch up on. So, but anyway, appreciate it. That's really good. Milichko, I think, saying, when will you start on toolset tutorials? Toolset tutorials, I'll be starting very soon. What I'm waiting for right now, and to be honest with you, it's quite frustrating for me as well. I'm waiting for for WordPress to release the WordPress 5. So once WordPress 5 comes out, I would then be doing a ton of tutorials because right now, the way WordPress is working, like the what's it called? You know, where you type your stuff in, editor, right? The editor is changing. I don't know what just happened there. The editor is changing to the brand new Gutenberg editor. So what's going to happen is things are going to look really, really different. I mean, there's a few videos I did on Gutenberg, so you can take a look and see the difference there. So the thing is, if I start doing tutorials now on this system, okay, in a few weeks' time, that's going to change. And if you're trying to take reference to those videos, they're going to look totally different to my latest tutorials, which will be on WordPress 5 Gutenberg. So this is why I'm holding back these major tutorials, because I want these to be fresh and timeless. So that is why I'm holding back on that. We also have Andrew Lee. Thank you very much. We have Russell. We also have Elevation, Elevation Allah, Agante. Oh, I did mention that. We have Roisa, Rito. We also have Carmen. I can't read this. Okay, we also have Karen. Karen, thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Okay, I can't read this name. Is it Terawal Films, I think? Saying, please upload videos to Blogger. Why would I do that? Blogger is like really... do people still use Blogger? That seems like a really old... platform from Google. So I don't know, these videos can be seen on YouTube because I think that's the easiest place where people can go on my channel, Mac TV, and you can, watch these tutorials, because I don't think there's a need, to be honest, for me to create a Blogger page and then start re-uploading content on there, because it's just on a central place on my YouTube channel. But if there is a specific reason, do let me know in the comments and I may consider that. Okay, brilliant. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to start with our first website, which was submitted by Tom. Let's take a look here. Right, so our website here. Is this working? Okay, great, it's working. In fact, let me just pull this over here to the right so I can see what I'm reviewing. Okay, great. Right, so this is the first website I'll be reviewing, and this was submitted by Tom. So Tom, once again, thank you very much for submitting your website. Right. So the first thing here is when I take a look at this, um, I like the way you're using your hero area here, but some of the images they're not really cropped well. Like for example, this image here just shows the face. I would actually put some context to what you have there on the page. Like this one here, the emotion on these faces doesn't really tell, the story. So what I would do here is I would use perhaps a one main image that you're going to use on your page, which pretty much covers the message or your value proposition here. Okay, because you don't want to add a slider, because again, you can see here the speed of this slider. For me to try and read everything on your page, I mean, that may be quite annoying for people to try and work out what your website is. Because remember, the value proposition is very, very important on your page, because in 3 seconds, people need to have an idea of what your website does. So to achieve this, you need to have an image that supports the message that you are going to be adding on that main page. And I would say, if you can, please avoid sliders, because they are very distracting, and you'll find that if you connect your website to Google Analytics, you'll find that quite a lot of people will be dropping out as a result of not really finding out what this is because of how difficult it is to go through these slides. The use of color here, I would say the color is fine. I mean, it's great. It's okay. I mean, we'll see later on how this translates in terms of your branding. Okay, now over here, I really like this section here. You did something very different. This is really, really cool. This is really nice. It looks very different, and it doesn't look like it's straight out of Divi as well. So that's well done there. Okay, on the bottom here, stories of hope, how individual you will. Okay, I think this is nice, but I mean the way you've added this image here in this section. But as you can see, your image here is pixelated. So I mentioned this pretty much on all episodes. The images that you use need to be high-res images, because it's very, very important that it's nice, it's crisp, because when they're pixelated like this, it gives an impression that the website is not professional, because you are supposed to be taking a very serious note when it comes to these little things. It may sound very little, but it has a major impact. So I would use high-res images throughout your website. So this image here could be replaced, and to be honest, you can achieve high-res images just by using if you have one of the latest smartphones. You can achieve that with good lighting, or you can use a DSLR camera. You don't have to invest in a photographer to do this. If you can't find those images, if you can't do that yourself, buy some or use some royalty-free images online. One website that I use is called unsplash.com and pixabay.com. They also have images that you can actually use free of charge for commercial and personal use. So do take a look at that, because that will definitely transform your website. Okay, so moving on here, let's take a look. I think this is really cool. I like what you've done here with this section by adding a video that covers this section. I think that's unique. That's really cool. And when I click on it here, let's see how the video plays. Okay, great. Right. Now, what I've noticed here is your video is way too big. Can you see that? I have to scroll to see the whole video. I think you need to adjust that video and make that video at least the size of the screen. Okay, you can achieve this by using VH. I think that's what you need to do here, because for me to see this whole video, it's quite tricky, because I have to scroll down just to see the full video. Now, I know this is possibly because this was designed on for a smaller screen, but in fact, even if I resize my screen here, I can still see that I have to scroll for me to see this video. Okay, so that's something that you may want to fix. But other than that, I like the idea of you using that the whole section as a video. I think that's really, really cool. Okay, so moving on. Now, the style of images that you have here, I think this will be really cool if you use the same style for all your images on your website, because this will make it unique and different. So if you are going to use this style, make sure this is the style you're going to go with, rather than use it sometimes and not use it sometimes. Okay, so I would use maybe that on certain images throughout the site. And then here, I think this doesn't really work, because you have these eyes really staring at you, but they're not really saying any message here. Something to love, receive inspiring stories and hope. I think you could use a different image for this section here to complement this message that you have right here. So this one right here, I don't think this image works, to be honest. Okay, your footer is great. I like that. It's simple, it's nice, it's clean. But now for the footer here, I think this could be even better if you used maybe a really dark gray, because blue here looks like it's your main branding color. But you be careful not to overuse it on your website. Okay, so we're just going to take a quick look here and see if there are any comments. Right, okay, so let's take a look at comments here. Elevation says Unsplash is the best. Have you heard of Napico? No, I haven't heard of that Napico. I haven't heard of Napico. I'll take a look at that. Elevation also says, why don't you have the video automatically playing? Make the video 1920 by 1080. Yeah, that could be a way, but the thing is, having videos play automatically can be also a negative, because some people may adjust their speakers, and if it's too loud, that can also be quite a bad experience for the visitor to your website, unless it starts playing but muted, and then you have to click on the unmute button to listen to it. So that's the thing that I would say regarding automatic video playing. Okay, let's take a look here. Rito says the font in the main menu is very small. Let me take a look. Oh, wow. Rito, well spotted right there. Well spotted. Now, if I take a look here, I mean, it is really small. I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. Right. Yes, all the way at the top here, this is way, way, way too small. This needs to be adjusted, I would say immediately, because it's way too small here. And also, I mean, I think caps would work, but yeah, the main thing is the size. And even here on the top, I may not even use blue, to be honest. I may use even a transparent black. I think that would work there on the top, because that would work well with these images here. That blue is more like a distraction there on the top, so I would use a transparent black, maybe 50% transparent for the top there. Okay, so let's go in and take a look at some of these other images, other pages. Okay, so who we are. Right, I like this, but oh, okay, so this is actually the building of the ministry. Okay, so I guess that works. Now I can see there is a slight gradient here on the left. I think that's really cool. Now, this text that you have here, there is a way of reducing that width. I think this is way too long. Have it maybe from here. Yeah, like that, because now it's just way too long to the side there. So I would actually reduce the width of this. up to maybe just about 50% in, like that, and then all the messages, just comes there. I think that will just make this page even much better. Okay, so that's what I would do here. And then let's take a look here. I also like the way you use negative margins here. I think that's really, really cool. It's different, it's unique, and it's very subtle as well, so that is really good. Your text here, what you've done is you've used a text which is way too big for your body text, and also your line height is way too much. And then if you take a look here on the bottom, your line height is not adjusted well. So here you have it a bit too much, and then on the bottom here, it's a bit too small. It's a bit too low. So I would increase the line height here and reduce it there, okay? And I don't think this is the same font size you're using on your homepage. So this may be something that you may want to, yes, you see? So here you're using a different size, okay? Yes, you are using a different size. So make sure that you use the font which is pretty much the same size throughout your whole website. And this can be achieved by going into your theme to customize to your theme customizer, and then making your adjustments there. Okay, so I'm just going to go into a few more pages here because I can see there's quite a few pages. Okay, right. Meet your servant leaders. I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's okay. That's great. Here, your content width is a bit too wide. You can see here that for anyone to read, they have to go all the way up there. It's quite difficult, to read sentences that are way too long like that. So another way around this is to use your row, to make adjustments to your row, and use a size which is maybe I would go with maybe even 1080, or sometimes I could go with let's say 1200. And if you want to use a percentage, I would go with maybe 65 or 70% depending on the content. But this is way too much to have it this way. So if you have it as a percentage, what happens is the website readjusts itself to fit your screen size, because the amount there you are viewing is as a percentage. So that's the advantage of using your rows as percentages. So that's something that you may want to do. In fact, if I get a bit of time, I will do a quick demo and show you how to do this, because I can see that in quite a few websites that I've reviewed now, this seems to be a problem that is occurring. So I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, so moving on, let's go to a different page. Or in fact, maybe there might be more content here. Let's just scroll down. Right, I like the way you've used parallax here. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, that works. I don't know why this page is moving way too fast. Let's see. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's move on to the next page. Oh, this website has quite a lot of pages. Okay, so I may not go through every single page, but I'll just go through the main pages. So I can see a trend here. So for every page, you have a large image with a message. That's fine. I think that works. And again, as mentioned before, just be careful about this sentence here. It's way too long. Just reduce that, as I mentioned before. And also maybe have a gradient here on the left side, just to make the text pop out a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Right, again, you're using a different font size here as your body text. So as you can see now, you are having quite a lot of pages with a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to your fonts. So this is something that needs to be resolved if you can. And also here, again, you're using this large text. I would perhaps maybe reduce the size a little bit, and maybe add a left line here with a color from your color palette, just to show that this is maybe, separate text to your body text. Okay. And here you've used your parallax again. I think that's fine. This is a different font. So now it's 3 times that we've seen fonts that are not the same. Okay, let's come over here to upcoming events, or in fact, newsletters and more. Okay, now again, this image. Oh, it wasn't the one. Okay, sorry about that. For upcoming events, what I would do, let's see here. Okay, that's fine. I guess this works because I was going to suggest to use a plugin, like a calendar plugin, which also shows your upcoming events, because this sometimes could work even better because of the layout and how, like everything is structured. Because the plugin that I've used before, I can't remember the name of the plugin now, but if I do remember, I'll add it in the comments box. Now, what it does is there's a shortcode that you use. That you add on maybe the main page or the page which has the events or upcoming events, and that shortcode will display, like maybe you can adjust it and say you want to have the 5 upcoming events, and then it will show you the 5 latest ones. And then if an event expires, it automatically removes it on the list. So this could be a way of showing this content differently. And also it has an option where you have a calendar where you can actually see on the calendar where these upcoming events are, as in like the date. So that's something that you may want to consider if you want to, perhaps display your content in a different way. Okay, so let's move on here. Giving help, donate. Let's take a look at the donate here. Okay, I think that's really cool. It's fine. Now, what could also work here on your donate page is maybe have a message via a video that has your main message that you're trying to persuade people or encourage people to donate. I think a video works very, very powerful. And in that video, if you could also have videos of the changes that you've done as a result of people donating, that is very, very powerful. So that's something that you may want to do. But of course, this is just my suggestion, just to maybe increase your donations, because a video tells a different story as to just reading the text on the page. So that's something that you also may want to consider. Okay, so moving on here, let's take a look. Okay, this page is fine. Corporate giving, let's see what we have there. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's great. Right, I'm just going to take a look here at the comments and see if we have any comments coming through. Right, okay. I think there's a discussion going on in there, so that is really cool. Right. Okay, so over here, we have this pop-up, that's fine. Thrift stores, let's take a look at this page. Great image. I think this one works because it has context. Now, this is what I mean when I was saying that your page title or the message on your page needs to go hand in hand with what is on that page. So this, it tells exactly what it is, and even there with the lady showing the shirt, I think this is perfect. So this is one of those examples which I think you should also use the same concept for your main page, whereby your image is also going along with what the message is saying. So I think this is a great choice of image. That's fantastic. So it looks like this page all follow a sort of like a theme, which is good. So that's something that's very, very positive here. Okay, right. So let's go over here to the home page. I saw something in the comments about the social media icons. To be honest, I think I would agree and say these social media icons maybe should not be on the top there, because it's just too much information here on the top. We could just make it very simple by just having our normal header here. If we really need to have these social media icons, why not have them, like on the side here or in the footer, okay? Because I think when people come to the website, they are mainly looking for the content, not social media, because the social media icons, they're taking you away from the main website, they're not keeping you on the actual site. So that's what I would do regarding, the social media icons. Okay, so let's summarize and go through the things that we spoke about here. Right, so in summary, I can say what needs to be done here is maybe readjust the homepage and have a clear value proposition which has an image that goes along with it. And on the top there, I would remove that secondary bar, because all it has is 2 social media icons. So I would remove that completely and have the social media icons either on the footer or have it on the main page on the side or something. There's plugins that can do that, which can allow you to have those social media icons on the side of the website. Because remember, people are coming to the website for information, not to be taken away from the actual website. Okay, so the other thing is, I would say your images. If you're going to use a style of images on your website, choose a style, or at least maybe have 2 styles. Maybe you can have normal images or just have black and white images. That is very, that will make your website very, very consistent, and it will make it even different, and unique, because black and white can work really, really good as well. You just need to know how to, use both. What I also noticed throughout your website, Tom, is the fact that you used different size fonts. This is something that you may need to address. The line height as well on some of the pages was a bit off. So just have something that's consistent throughout, your website. So have the same font, body text size, titles, color, line height. This can be done globally. So you can just go into Divi and theme customizer, and you're able to do that there. Okay, and also the other thing that you may want to do is that video. The idea is good, but you need to readjust the size so that video plays without anyone trying to scroll to see where that video ends and where it starts. Okay, so let me see here. There's a lot of action happening here on the comments. I can't even keep up. Okay, not that I'm complaining though. Let's take a look here. Oh, Monique has just joined us as well. Hey, Monique, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it. Okay, so Tom, I was just trying to take a look here and see if there were any comments or anything that relates to your website, Tom, but it looks like not. But anyway, the main things that I've covered here, if you take note of that, just try and apply those little changes. But I also like the fact that you are using, a consistent page structure throughout your whole website. That is really good. But just take a quick note of those little things, and I'm pretty sure this will actually change and make your website look even better. Okay, so that's all I have to say. So Tom, thank you very much for submitting your website. Now it's time to move on to the next website, and this website was submitted by Katherine. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look here. Okay, now before I move on, there's a comment here by Elevation Allah which says, what does everyone feel about charging per page? For example, $1,000 plus 300 per page. Right. My take on that, because I think that's a very interesting question. My take on that is when you charge per page, I think that doesn't really work, because when a client comes to you, and I'm saying this from because I've also run a design agency, in the past. So when a client comes to you, they want a complete solution. right? They don't want they want like a complete website. So how I used to pitch it was I would say I can design you a website where you can sell your products on your actual website. So and then give the quote around the whole project. And then in that project, I also estimate how long it's going to take me to do that, and the time, and then multiply that by my hourly rate. But I would just give the client a flat fee. Like if it's going to be £2,000, I'll just say it's going to cost you £2,000, and that's it. Because when you start doing it per page, I think it gets very complicated, and the client may feel like they've been ripped off, because you're just increasing pages and pages and pages onto the project. So I don't think there's a need to charge per page. I think it's more powerful to charge per project, okay? And even the hourly rate, I would only use that when it comes to maintenance, right? Because what you could also do as a freelancer is you can say, right, once your website is complete, 2 options. Then this is what I used to say. I would say to my client, you have 2 options. 1, you can maintain your website yourself, or we can take all that heavy lifting and we can maintain your website for you. But, here are, the plans. There's a 3 hours a month, and this is your backups, any changes to your pages, blah, 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 blah. But if it goes beyond that, and this is where now you can say, okay, if you want me to add more pages to your website, I can charge you maybe $300 or £300 per page outside the main contract that you've just completed. So that's how I would do it. And that's what I see a lot of freelancers also do. Okay, I hope that has that information has also helped and benefited some. Elevation here says, so would you have a flat fee that varies greatly between the information site versus? Absolutely. So if a client wants an e-commerce website, and I'm just using these numbers, these are not the actual numbers, but I'm saying if someone wants a basic 5-page website, because there are some clients that may want a basic website, okay, just like a portfolio website which has the home, about us, services, contact, and maybe portfolio page, right? If they want something basic, 5 pages, that could be, let's say for argument's sake, $1,000, okay? But now, if they want a membership website, that's different, because now you have a plugin, it's more complex, and that could cost, let's say, $2,000. If you want an e-commerce website, that could cost $3,000, because this is where you could say, I can take your pictures for you, or if you supply your images. Just the fact that the website is a bit more complex, that in itself is where you start, segregating your pricing range. So your basic website, they can cost less. If it's a specific website, like maybe it's a e-commerce website, that will have a separate price. But e-commerce websites tend to cost more, because there's a lot of bells and whistles that you need to make sure you fix to make sure that everything is working fine. So that's what I would do there. Okay, so have separate prices for different type of websites. So again, if it's a website which collects emails, so that means you may need to have a landing page where you can collect emails. That type of website is also priced differently. So that's what I would do there. Yes, membership websites. There are some situations where you'd want to have a membership website. Like, for example, this website we've just reviewed, like Tom's website. That's something that you may add for the church members, okay? So they would have their own page to log in, and once they log in, they may have like information that is not available to the public. The membership website could also be in situations like, let's say you're building a school website. There can be an area where teachers can access certain information and students can access certain information. So there are several ways that you can actually use membership websites. And the plugin that I recommend there is MemberPress. I'll also add a link to that. Anderson Lee saying, learning so much. Awesome, great. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Katherine's website. And I really like these questions, by the way, that we're going through. So What was suggested, I think this was a few weeks ago, is to have a Q&A. I guess we can add something, but what we could do is, if you guys think a Q&A is something that we can add to our live sessions, we can choose a specific day for a Q&A. But of course, it is going to depend on if a lot of you are interested in a Q&A. So what we'll do is towards the end of the show, we can do a quick vote and see if the Q&A is popular enough for us to just have a web design Q&A show where it's just purely question and answer session. Okay, right. So let's move on to Katherine's website, and here it is. This is the website that was submitted by Katherine, and by looking at this, I really like the fact that it's nice, it's clean. The use of white space here, I think, is also great. On the top here, I also like the fact that you used a different sort of font here and then followed it up with a normal font. But here, I would not have this italicized. I will just have this as normal font. Maybe make it a bit bold so that we can read clearly what is on this page. Right, so let me see if I can resize this. Okay, so if I resize this, I hope you can see this. This is where now you get to see how this site was designed. It was designed for a smaller screen. So this is something, again, that I've mentioned before, that if you're designing your page, just try and design this for all screen sizes, okay? Whether it's a massive screen or a small screen, it doesn't really matter. Elevation is saying, whose site is this? This site was submitted by Katherine. So yes, this is Katherine's website. Okay, so the value proposition here is great. All it says is bake, create, lose weight, feel great. I like that. This is really cool. Now, on the image here, I'm not saying this image doesn't work, but because this is about baking or creating, stuff like that, I would actually even use a maybe a picture of a bunch of cakes on, like on the table. That would really be more even be more impactful. But of course, this image here works. That's fine. Okay. Fit and healthy baker. I like that that logo. I may just reduce that a little bit because this top section here is a bit too big. And also this border here, I'm not sure about this border that you have here. I don't think that really that really works, to be honest. I would actually get rid of that border and apply colors to separate my content on the page. Okay, so scrolling down here, I really love the way you've done these recent blogs. I think this is fantastic. This is really nice. It's clean. Your images are crisp, and this is brilliant. I really, really like this. Okay, and we can see clearly that this is a blog. In fact, I'm going to click one of these and then see where this is going to take us. But this is brilliant. On the bottom here, sign up, get a free fit and healthy. Fantastic. So you see, here I know exactly what I'm signing up for. So I really like that. The only thing that I may want to do here is to resize this image and just bring it down a bit so it's in line with the content here, because it looks like something is missing here on the bottom here. So I'll just, add a bit of padding here to the top and then just, reposition this a little bit. But this is great. Now, having looked at this page, although this is clean, it's well laid out, images are great, I may choose a palette that works great for baking and food. Now, it's very, very important, to choose the right colors here. And the colors I would recommend here are colors, in the browns, in the oranges. Those are the colors that go with baking, food, and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'll start introducing here, maybe in some of my sections, or even, in the text that I'm using throughout the site. But I mean, all in all, that's just a quick suggestion. But of course, this page works. I think this is really nice. Right. There's a comment here which says get rid of the default footer. Yes, I would say so, because here on this default footer, there is nothing on it. And And then here we have these icons. I mean, I think, yeah, more could be done here on the footer. So I would definitely agree with you, Mark, there. If you are going to put content on the footer, please add some content on the footer because right now it looks very plain. So you may want to, make some, do some work there on the footer. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next page here. I'm going to go to the About page. Okay, again, it's nice, it's clean, it's well laid out. I really like that. Now, again, I would suggest here, Catherine, to use sizes on your rows. Okay, because right now, if I stretch this page, because I use a 27-inch monitor, right? If I do this, do you see that things are not aligned now? So here, where my text starts and where this image starts, it is out of position. So if I were to reduce this, right, like that, do you see that the more I do this, everything starts lining up? So you probably designed this page on a small screen or maybe a laptop. It looked good on your laptop, but to people with different size monitors, it's not going to look consistent. Okay, so what I will do, and in fact, I'll make a note of this, and you guys, you need to take note of this. It's very, very important. I mean, some of you may know how to do this already, but I just want to help, quite a lot of you out there on how to use your content section and how to have it, universal throughout different screen sizes. Okay, so I'll leave that to the end. So please do stay tuned because I want to show you how to do that. Because clearly here it's something that is that could be actually improved on this page. Okay, so back over here. So that's the only thing I would fix there. And on the top here, you know what, Catherine? I would actually even do I could even add a bit of color to this. To be honest, it looks. The colors don't really scream, that's healthy baking. They don't really, scream that out. It's working, it's clean, don't get me wrong, but I think by adding a bit of color there, color splash, that would actually make this even better, We have Clint here saying, this is fantastic, Mac. So much. I've just enrolled on the Divi Mastery course. So excited. Wow. Awesome, Clint. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. So, yes. And again, I'd just like to say to you, Clint, now that you have enrolled on the Divi Blueprint 3 course, the updated course that I'm working on, which is called the Web Design Formula, you are going to get access to that absolutely free, okay? So this is the course which I'll be doing, which is going to be pretty much just after WordPress 5.0 comes out. So I'm just waiting for WordPress 5.0 to come out. Once that comes out, I'll be doing a revamped tutorial course which will cover quite a lot of things. I'm talking about SEO, color theory, these things that we're just discussing about, how to use the new Divi, because a lot of updates have been done to Divi. So it's going to be a fully packaged course. And this course is going to be costing around $497. So because you've bought this now, this means that you have a free pass to that course. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I thought I'll just mention that. Okay, so moving on here. This image here, okay, I don't know if you can see this because this is on a large screen, but this paragraph is overlapping. It's going into this image here, okay? And that's not good because we can't read what is on this image, okay? We can't really read that. But I guess if I resize this, we are able to read that. Yeah, there you go. You see? So now that I've resized this, do you see that now it's easier to read? But if this was on a slightly bigger monitor, there we go. We can't, this image overlaps. So I'm not sure how you constructed this page, but you need to go and restructure this page. So that's something I'll really, really recommend because this could be affecting some of visitors to your website with this, okay? Moving on here. Okay, I think that's fine. And then you also have your blogs there. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so let's move on to the baking. And this is the page where I'm expecting to see a lot of vibrant images and stuff like that. Great, yes. Oh, you see this image here on the top, Catherine, you could do by having a nice image there of something that you've baked, or an image of a cake or a slice of cake or something like that. Okay, so utilize these areas here. Don't keep them like gray and too simple. Don't be afraid to go in and use these options that we have. Okay, just add your images there. That will transform these inside pages. Okay, so on the top there, I would actually use an image of a cake or just something on there, and then just have your text that goes with that section, and then have that that design structure, page title structure throughout your whole website. That will definitely work for you. Okay, so over here, blog posts. I guess these blog posts are relating to the baking stuff, which is good, because you can segregate this based on baking. Right, so this is fantastic. Cake decorating. Again, I will be expecting to see something here which has cake being decorated. And again, that's another opportunity that you could actually use this space here. The use of this text here, I mean, is great. I won't take anything away from that, but just just add an image to go with that. Now here, I can see you're using these double borders. Okay, I would actually use a solid color. Don't be afraid, Catherine, to use color throughout your design. Just use a solid color that goes across, that distinguishes all your sections, because that just shows, that brings your focus to that area. These two lines that you've just added, the two double borders, they don't really do much, to be honest. So don't be afraid. Just use a solid color that goes across, and that will make this, even much better. Okay. We also have blog posts here. So, okay, let's move on to health and fitness. Okay, and then over here again, you can have, I've spoken about this, the structure is pretty much the same. Okay, so finally, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to one of these blogs and see how the blog layout looks like. Nice. I really like this. I really like this. Is nice, it's clean, and your blog layout, it looks like you've pretty much redesigned it, to make it, suit your own type of website. This is fantastic. In fact, I can't even tell that this website was designed using Divi. So this is really cool. This is really nice. Okay, you have your call to actions there, your subscriptions. That is really nice. Recent posts, great. Categories, brilliant. Nice images. Great. Nice. Okay, I think that's brilliant. Well done there on the blog page. I think that is fantastic. Right, so to summarize this, I would say, Catherine, choose a color palette that goes into, that is in line with food. Your browns, your oranges, those are the kind of colors you want to use, and just use shades of those, because in Divi, you also have the color palette, choose, colors that work well together for you. So that's something that you definitely want to do. Go in there and use those colors throughout your whole website that are suggested by the Divi color palette. Okay. And also, distinguish all your sections using color. Okay, those double lines, they're just making the page way too wide and way too simple. Just use a bit of color, and I think that'll be great. And then on your page titles, don't be afraid to use images in there. Put some nice images, even close-ups, of cakes. This is where now close-ups work. They don't really work well on humans, where you are closing up on the eyes, on the face. But when it comes to food, you can really have a brilliant close-up where you can actually see the texture of the cakes and stuff like that. So I would recommend that you do that. Okay. Oh, Catherine is actually in the comments. I can see Catherine saying, thank you so much for all your feedback. Oh, appreciate it. I'm glad, you're actually, here to watch the review. So thank you very much for tuning in, Catherine. Yes, so those are the main things that I would say about your website. But all in all, to be honest, I think you've done a fantastic job by using the right images for your blog images and your blog page layout. I think that is really, really nice. And in the near future, I think in a few weeks, or I would say maybe in a few weeks, when Divi releases, these custom page templates, I think this is going to give us even a better opportunity of designing these pages and making them look the way we want. So, all in all, I would say you've done a fantastic job there to lay out your page the way it is. It's clean, it's very easy to follow, your call to actions are very clear, and also your value proposition is great. But just play around with different images. I can already see that you've got great images there. Use those images on your website, and this will definitely transform your websites. Now, there's quite a lot of comments coming through. Let's take a look here. Okay, so Atul also mentions here something about the fixed logo. Let me take a look at that. Oh, yes. Okay, let me just show you guys what Atul is referring to here. Okay, so notice that right now this logo looks nice and big, right? But when I scroll, it gets way too small. I don't know if you can see that right there in the corner. Okay, so all you need to do there, Katherine, is to adjust your height. Okay, so don't make it too small. Just readjust it. So if your main height is, let's say, 100, I would say reduce this to about maybe 80. Okay, but don't make it way too small, because your logo now becomes way too small, as Atul is referring to here. So Atul, thank you very much for pointing that out. I almost missed that. Awesome. Okay. Okay, Katherine is saying, how do I fix that? Okay, if you go into your, let me see, I want to make sure I'm pointing you to the right direction here. If you go into your dashboard and then go to Appearance, Customize, Header and Navigation. In fact, let's go here. Let me show you what I'm actually doing here. Okay. So here I'm on Header and Navigation. If you go to your primary menu bar, this is where you make your adjustments. So right now you can see mine is at 66. So you can actually increase the size here or reduce it there. Okay. Right. So now this is my primary menu bar. So what you want to do is to fix navigation settings. Okay, so your menu height here, the menu height here is 40. So this is where you can adjust it so that when someone scrolls, it will be on a specific size. So this is where I'm saying, if you say maybe 80 for this one, for your fixed, and then you can also adjust your text size. Now the text size here, again, you want to reduce it slightly, but not too much. So let's say this is 15. Now, if I go back over here to my primary menu, okay, in fact, what size was this? So for my secondary, no, not secondary, what am I doing? For my fixed navigation is 80, right? And then for my primary, I could maybe set this to 100, like that, okay? This is just an example. So you don't want to make it too small, okay? So just make sure that you have a size that is, that works, well for both when you scroll down slightly. Okay, so that is where you can find this information. Okay, right. No, Katherine, it doesn't take up too much page for somebody with a smaller screen. In fact, I think I can show you that. So if I switch over here to my desktop and I reduce this, do you see that although I'm reducing this to really small screen, your size of your image still stays the same? But when I scroll down here, that size that you have for your fixed size is still the same size, so that's not changing. Okay, so that doesn't affect the screen size at all. Okay, so look, even if I do that, do you see that it's not changing? It's still the same. So you just need to make those changes once, and then everything should be all good. Right. This is why, Katherine, when I mentioned, when I first had a look at your website, I did say that your logo looks a bit too big. I would reduce it slightly because it's a bit too big, because your logo needs to be consistent, throughout, these different screen sizes. So don't make it too big and don't make it too small. There's just a sweet spot right there that you need to make it. So I would reduce the size a bit so that it looks, the same on all devices. When it comes to the smartphones and the tablets, what will happen is, depending on how much information you have for your page titles, this can collapse into that hamburger icon for mobile devices. So I mean that's the break point for how it shows on the tablets. Okay. What was the question here? Sagar says, you can after live stream ends. I'm not sure what. Oh, it's about the replay. Could I replay this live session as I missed the starting part? Yeah. You can replay this. It will be on the YouTube channel. Okay, right. So let's move on to our next website. And this website here was submitted by Samuel. So let's head over here and take a look at Samuel's website. Right. Okay, we have a problem here. So Samuel, if you're watching, this is what I'm getting when I go to your website. So something is wrong. You definitely need to go and fix this problem because if your website is out there to the public, they may be seeing exactly what I'm seeing. Let me try it one more time. Yeah. So it's saying my connection is not private. So this is something that you need to definitely fix. So there's nothing much I can do there, Samuel. Right. So let's move on to the next one. Next elevation says click advanced and click proceed anyway. Now, will this not mess up my computer? Yeah, you see, I don't think I want to take that risk, to be honest, because it's saying attackers might be trying to steal your information from from this website. I'm not saying, Samuel, that that's what you're trying to do, but it could be that your website could be hacked. I don't know if I can go ahead, to be honest, because if your website is hacked, this might load some scripts on my computer. So this is why I'm really scared to go on this. Has anyone gone onto clicked on the let me see here. Katherine says their security certificate expired. They need to call their host. Elevation says, don't you have a firewall? No, I don't use a firewall. I know I'm supposed to be using one, but I don't. Okay, so Atul says, no, it's just an SSL error. Click on advance. Katherine says, this happened to me before. Proceed. Okay. It's not hacked. Okay, Decide Hosting says it's not hacked. It's a block site. Okay. SSL certificate is expired. Okay, so the link elevation is in the description below. Okay, Decide Hosting is also saying it's an SSL error. All right, so I'm just gonna. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to click advanced and go to it. But you know what, guys? If my if this affects my computer, I would need to reinstall everything. So, okay. I'll just go with what majority of you are saying. This is an SSL error. Okay. Advanced. Proceed. Okay. Proceed. And Russell also says here, this is why everyone needs an SSL. Yes. Okay, so I'm on the website now, and this just looks like a blog. There isn't like much design that has been done to this page. And to be honest, I think quite a lot needs to be done here on this website, design-wise. That's what I definitely think. Rita now says, my virus protection report says a suspicious page has been blocked for your protection. Now you're making me panic now. So, okay, so let's take a look at this website. Okay, so design-wise, when I first look at this, I don't know what this website is about. I don't know what this website is about, and this is where I would say having, a value proposition is very, very important on your website. So this right here, I can see it's a blog, but I don't even know what type of blog it is. Okay, I would now have to go in and start reading and start diving deep into this website for me to know what this website is about. So Samuel, I would say try and have a section here which talks about what your website is about, and then have all these blog titles on the bottom there. But after we have an idea about what this website is about, I think that would help visitors that come to your website. And also the use of color here, I mean, it's way too dull. You have this dark gray, and then you also have this black, right? And I think you could do more with a color palette that is much better than this, to be honest. It just looks way too dark. And then here on your images, your text is overlapping what's on these images here. So I would actually, redesign this, or at least change majority of what we have here. So have a nice image there, use of images, your color palette as well, and the way you lay out all your blogs and all your posts. I think that's also very important. Now, if I click on one of these, let's see where this takes me. See now, even these inside pages, it's just way too dark. There's no structure to it, in terms of where things are starting, where things are ending, the columns. And then here on this pop-up, it says subscribe to our newsletter. Join our mailing list to receive the latest news and updates for our team. Now, the question is, why would I want to receive the latest news and updates to your team? So this is where now, again, when it comes to things like trying to grow your mailing list, you have to be specific. Why would I want to receive the latest news? So the reason could be our latest news covers, blah, 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 blah. So that could be the reason why I need to download or join the mailing list. So be more specific if you really want to grow your mailing list. So that's what I would do on this pop-up here. Okay, so again, the colors here, I think it's just way too dark, way too, it's really too dark here. I would actually try and play around with the different color palettes and also the layouts on this page. So if I come over here to Android, let me see what's happening on Android. Yeah, I would actually try and lay out this page, and categorize it in such a way that it has different levels. So right now, it looks like everything is just like put on that page, and there's no like structure to that page. Decider hosting here is saying it looks like iOS night mode. Yes, because everything is a bit. Yes, I've just got a call, and it looks like there's an emergency um, at home. Um, my wife is not well, so unfortunately, I'll have to end this here. So as you can see, my mind is not here anymore. So I just need to rush home and find out what the problem is. So I'm really sorry I have to cut this short, but what I will do is on Saturday, I will continue from where I've left. In fact, I will let you know if you subscribe to my mailing list on, if we're going to have this on Saturday as well. But I'm really sorry. I really have to go because as you can see in the comments there, that's my son who was just saying, I need to answer my phone, so it's an emergency. I really have to go now, so I'm really sorry, guys. But I promise I will have a longer show where I would, cover, most of these things that we were talking about today. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really have to cut this short, and I will. Have another live show very, very soon. And if you're subscribed to my mailing list, I will be sending an email out. So do keep an eye on that. So sorry, guys, I really have to go. So take care and have a good rest of the weekend, of the week. Cheers.